Hello. Good. Sure. Crazy morning or what?
Good to see you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. All grand plan. Let's see what actually happens. Let's see.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We'll call to order the September 4th, 2025 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, seeing all three commissioners present. We'll ask our Director of Public Health to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Christina Miller.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First things first, happy game day. Go Birds. Hopefully people will be able to get to the game today, moving now to the policy comments, because SEPTA does unfortunately still not have funding. I know organization FanDuel stepped up to provide the service for this game, which is $80,000 for anyone who's wondering. But we are still seeing a significant gap in funding for mass transit in the state. The state doesn't have a budget, and now that's going to start impacting human services. So our county relies on $10 million in state funding every month. That goes to programs that support the elderly population, drug and alcohol prevention, recovery, education, children and families in our foster care system, individuals with developmental disabilities, emergency shelters. Many critical services rely on state funding. So we really want to urge all of our legislators in Harrisburg and all of our residents and citizens to reach out to them to encourage them to come to a resolution, because the county has done quite a bit to, right now, and we're still working on preparing and planning, but fundamentally this would lead to some very hard decisions. We've had strong financial management in the county, a AAA bond rating, a healthy fund balance, but that amount of funding is not something that we can just compensate with internally. So we really want to encourage all of you to reach out to your legislators and let them know about the consequences that would happen if the budget is not passed promptly. And as an example of one of the things we've had to do in the face of state and federal cuts is addressing hunger. So we saw SNAP cuts in the recent federal budget. There are 85,000 Monco residents that experience food insecurity. 67,000 residents in Montgomery County rely on SNAP, and it's honestly devastating to see what could happen to many families. I was at a food pantry earlier in the summer, and they're preparing for an uptick in a lot of use, and they've already been seeing that given the inflation. You all know grocery prices have gone up at least 25% in the last few years, and it's hard for working families. So tomorrow, I'm thankful that my fellow commissioners and I will be presenting a check for $500,000 to the local food pantries through the Monco Anti-Hunger Network, MON. So we'll be at the community cupboard in Upper Marion, making that investment. And we are voting today on $610,000 in support for local organizations that support our community's food infrastructure. So you'll hear more about that. So we're already having to make up for some of the losses we're seeing at the federal and state level, but we have to warn you that we can't do that indefinitely. So we really need a state budget that supports all of our communities here in Montgomery County. So on a lighter note, I want to recognize a very special guest we have with us this morning. So I read in the paper this last week that we have a Royersford student, 8-year-old Aiden Wilkins, who has taken his first class in neuroscience at Ursinus College, the youngest that we're aware of in history. So welcome, Aiden. He's here with his moms and with Councilwoman McKinney from Collegeville, who works at Ursinus, who represents Ursinus, and brought him. And he's the youngest student ever enrolled at Ursinus College. Most of the time when you apply and you're 8, they really don't give you the full consideration. But Aiden knew his councilwoman, and she said, why not? He's ready to learn. And I'm glad you squeeze this in right before you turn 9 in 3 days, because you set the record at 8. So that was very smart. But he's taking a neuroscience class as part of a dual enrollment program through his high school, an online charter school. And, I'm impressed by your passion. Fun fact, I studied neuroscience when I was not your age, but double your age at 16. I started then, and I told him about some of the activities I did and look forward to seeing you engage in. So I don't know if we have to present him with a commendation. So we're going to bring him up and just congratulate him on setting a great example for all of his fellow students in Montgomery County. Do you want to stand in the middle?
Slide down this way.
Oh, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Everyone right here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
So, Aiden, do you want to message for all the other 8-year-olds out there in Montgomery County?
My message is you can do anything, you just have to put the work into it.
Thank you so much. So might have to ask you where you get those suits, because. Final comment from me. I just want to mention that a recent court decision in the federal appeals courts decided that mail-in ballots with an incorrect date or undated ballot on the outside of the envelope should be counted, and that is something that's gone back and forth in the courts for many, many years, probably the most litigated election issue ever. And it has been our stance in Montgomery County that we're going to do everything we can to protect the right to vote, to count the votes lawfully eligible registered voters, which we can verify whether or not the date is on the ballot. So I'm glad we had that decision, and I hope that the U.S. Supreme Court upholds it. And the judge in the case appointed by George W. Bush said discarding thousands of ballots every election is not a reasonable trade-off in view of the date requirements, extremely limited and unlikely capacity to detect and deter fraud. So idea here is that we've got to protect people's fundamental right to vote, and there are many other measures that we do take to protect the integrity of the election, including through the registration process and audits, and a number of other verifications. So that's a good update and reminder that we do have elections coming up soon, and we've got judicial races on the ballot, local races, school boards, townships, election officials, and just make sure to go to our website at montgomery.gov, and you'll get all the details in terms of where you can register or choose your mail-in address if you are moving or out of the county on election day. And our mail-in ballots will probably be sent sometime closer to the end of this month, around the 24th. With that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Warren.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Are we ready for the Eagles game? Go Birds, that's right. You know, the game is a little late for me, so I'm gonna have to take a nap before kickoff is at 8:30. That's super late, so we hope they bring home the win. I'll start my comments off by acknowledging that September is National Recovery Month. Recovery from addiction is a journey that so many families experience, often in silence. I've shared publicly that that's been a part of my family's journey. I'm proud that I will be hosting an event next week on September 9th to bring together leaders and community members to amplify the voices of recovery. This will include my brother Randy. We will share the stage and share our very personal journey of navigating recovery as a family. Our goal is to show that recovery is possible and help is available. We will also be joined by Dr. Davis Jones, who is Pennsylvania Secretary of the Department of Drug and Alcohol, Dr. Janine Darby, our Montgomery County Coroner, Dr. Monica Taylor, the Chair of Delaware County Council, Lori Vargo Hefner, who also has decades in recovery, clean and sober, President of the Northampton County Council, Darnell Hinton of Teach One, Feed One, and Unity Sober Living, and Congresswoman Madeline Dean will be sharing a special video message about her family and her family's experiences. Please reach out to our external affairs for more information. Nobody on the journey to recovery should ever have to do it alone. I hope if you so choose that you'll join me next week on September 9th. Last week, I had the emotional experience of dropping my Max off to elementary school. I'll tell you, if you can guess who had more tears, it was certainly Mom. Max didn't look back when I dropped him off at school. He's still not looking back, saying bye, Mom. But I know this was a rite of passage for many parents and kids throughout the county at this time of year. I'm proud to say that the start of school for some local families was made so much easier thanks to the support of our local residents and local businesses. The county's school supply drive was the most successful school supply drive that we've ever hosted. We doubled the number of donations we received last year. Our team is still counting everything, but to date, we've collected nearly 20,000 items, meaning we're able to support over 1,600 families with supplies they need to start the school year off strong. This is a record high, and we will release the official numbers soon. So on behalf of these young students, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving of these school supplies to ensure that every child in Montgomery County has an opportunity to have the supplies they need to start the school year off right. Lastly, National Hispanic Heritage Month begins September 15th and goes to October 15th. During this time, many Central American countries celebrate their independence days. Here in the United States, the observance is a time to recognize, honor, and celebrate the history and contributions of our diverse Hispanic communities. It's especially important to elevate and celebrate these stories now. when coordinated narratives of fear, exclusion, and discrimination are being used to justify acts of harm towards our neighbors. When we take the time to learn more about and celebrate different cultures within our county, we are reminded that our beauty is our diversity. Hispanic Heritage Month is about the spirit of connection with our country's history and with the people around us. At our next board meeting, we will hear from Nellie, our Director of Immigrant Affairs. She will make a special presentation and proclamation to celebrate the month, so I hope you all will be back next month to join us then. That's it for me.
All righty. So the Eagles are playing tonight? Is that out there anywhere? So, as Commissioner Weiner mentioned, schools are full swing back in over the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to make a quick PSA safety announcement. For parents driving their little ones around this fall, it's important to make sure your car seat is installed correctly. There are free car seat checks offered at 3 firehouses around the county, Norristown, Limerick, and Montgomeryville. You can find more details and make an appointment on our website. We also offer virtual car seat checks if you can't make it to one of the firehouses. Appointments are necessary, but it's completely free. The second part of the PSA that I'm going to talk about is for all drivers out there. Please be extremely careful on your commute to and from work. There are more kids running around on the streets, on the corners, near bus stops, and more cars, of course, are on the road. So please obey the stop signs on the school buses. I know that when I was on the school board, we had to put cameras on the school buses because there was so many close calls and drivers ignoring the school buses and their signals. So we installed those cameras, working with the local police departments. It's amazing to me that we would have to do something like that, but you see videos day in and day out all over Facebook where you have cars speeding, not only past on the left side of the bus, but they come down the right side of the bus where the kids are exiting when the bus is stopped with their lights on and the blinkers and the stop sign arm that comes out. I mean, there's so many signals and warnings on these school buses. So when you see blinking red lights on school buses, please stop. Believe me, I tell you, your inconvenience is probably less than a minute while the kids exit the school bus and get to the sidewalks and go home safely. So with that, also September is Suicide Prevention Month. We know that mental health has been a serious challenge across the country in the last several years. People of all ages are struggling, and in the veterans community, this has been going on for many years. About 45,000 Americans, over 6,000 veterans take their own lives each year. These are staggering numbers. There's a good chance everyone here has lost a friend or relative to suicide. There is no easy solution, but I want everyone to know that there are people out there to help. At any time, local and national crisis hotlines are available. I believe they're on the screen. So please, if you are in a sign of desperation, there's resources and people out there to help. And please don't ever have to feel that last resort is to take your own life. We at Montgomery County have 6 community behavioral health centers. They are all also listed. Centers provide case management, critical treatment, medication management, and many other things. They're all around the county and a great resource. Montco has a suicide prevention task force. They offer trainings to individuals, companies, and organizations. This can help us identify warning signs before people fall into that crisis. So I think we all can be proactive in looking out for people in our own lives who are struggling. And a conversation, simple conversation has a long way, goes a long way. And also, the commissioners will be participating in the flag raising to honor veterans who we lost to suicide on February 26th at 10 a.m. We'll be raising the flag here at the courthouse across the street. As mentioned earlier, there's 6,000 veterans die by suicide each year in this country. And that number is way too many. There shouldn't be one, but 6,000 is way too many. I know we'll probably be talking about this more at our next commissioner meeting, but I just want to remind everyone that next week is the 24th anniversary of September 11th, so please take a minute or two throughout your day on September 11th and just remember those who we lost on that devastating day. And finally, on the morning of September 2nd, Japanese representatives signed the surrender document during a ceremony on the deck of the battleship USS Missouri, and this marked the end of World War II. So I think that's also a very important day for us to recognize September 2nd. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. With that, we will move forward in the agenda, and we'll hear now from Sheriff Sean Penny about some good news regarding the sheriff's team and the honor guard.
Oh, sorry, make this on. Thanks, Liz. All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner Makija, Commissioner Winder, Commissioner DeBella, for having us here today on this joyous occasion. That's a picture from about a month and a half ago in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we had to spend a couple days hanging out with all these Steelers fans, but we got through it. We got through the crisis, and our folks brought it home for the fourth time in a row. So if you're out doing some trivia, there's a great trivia question you can ask people. What did the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, the Boston Celtics, and the Houston Comets have in common? And that's 4 championships in a row. But this is not about me. This is about the Sheriff's Office, and more importantly, it's about the deputies behind me that work so hard to make our county great and be out there at public events. And it's because of funding that the commissioners give us in our annual budget. We always appreciate more. I know the budget process is coming up, point. So I want to thank that. But to get on to the competition, so we won it for the 4th year in a row. And with deputies McMichael, Capiello, Fluke, Scott, and Smith, and they've demonstrated the highest levels of precision, discipline, and professionalism. Their immaculate uniforms, impeccable routines, and tireless dedication set a standard of excellence that continues to impress year after year. So what makes this accomplishment more even meaningful is they do this training on their own time. And most Commissioner DeBella talked about veterans and veterans issues. About 40% of my office are veterans, including myself, and members of our Honor Guard are veterans. So those are issues that are very important to us. And what do veterans and deputy sheriffs always have in common? They're protecting us, and they're doing something bigger than themselves every day. And that's what our deputies are doing. So we're working forward, and we'll be working with the County Veterans Affairs and the commissioners on the county veterans flag raising coming up in November. And one of the things that's also very special to us, we have the trophy for the Honor Guard is named after one of our former deputies in the names of Parker and Brian Lukens. It's a tragedy about 8 years ago. Brian has moved on and is Judge Del Ritchie's crier now, but served us for over a decade with honor and distinction, and went through a tragedy that none of us could bear. And what was very nice about our brother and sister sheriffs, although we're a very diverse Commonwealth from counties like Montgomery, close to 900,000 people, to some counties, 30,000 people, is all the sheriffs came together when that tragedy happened, and we decided to name the trophy after Deputy Lucan's sons. So I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for honoring our deputies or our honor guard specifically. And I wanted to see did any Bryce, do you want to say something real quick? I always do this to him every year. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I just want to start off by thanking the sheriff and the chief and frankly the whole department for supporting us in our training and preparation for the competition. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Brian Lukens, even though he has now moved on as a crier. He's always been a support to our unit and given us every opportunity to be the best. As much as we appreciate the individual recognition, none of us do this for that individual recognition. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We do it to honor men and women who have come before us, who have served this country, and we try to respect it by being the best that we can to honor them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Sheriff, good question. Is this the same team over the last 4 years, or have it rotated different
Changed
sheriffs?
slightly. Handful of other members are on with other police departments now, but I think for at least the last 2 years, it's been this core here, as well as Deputy Capial and I have been there for 3
Right.
of the last years. I was there for 4 of the last years.
Well, it's amazing that, that the team has even changed a bit over the last 4 years, and you still come back with honor and work hard and bring that trophy back to Montgomery County. So it's a great accomplishment for you and everyone that's been involved for the last 4 years. So great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know, did you get a picture, Commissioner?
Yeah, we'll bring it up, but thank you both for your services, veterans, those of you who are, and sheriffs, and keeping all of us safe, not just here in the courthouse, and the work that you do out in the field is, something that just on behalf of our county residents, we're thankful for, and the fact that you're winning this is, I think, also a testament to the training in general and the level of professionalism that you have across all the work that you do as sheriffs. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what I would say, Sheriff, always grateful for your leadership, and you lead by example, and you really honor the people that are actually on the ground doing the work. So thanks for all that you do for Montgomery County, and for just taking a little bit of extra time to do this effort in your spare time. You all are already busy enough as it is. So our sheriff's office continues to be a point of pride for me and the rest of Montgomery County. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us where to stand. You guys are better at this. All right. All right. We'll do it around the corner. All right.
Everyone?
All right, right here. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
One more.
Thank you very much.
So next up, we're going to hear from the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, a presentation on what's coming up. 250.
Something big's coming up. So, good morning, commissioners. How are you today? And I want to thank you. Thanks. Sorry about that, Lee. I want to thank you very much for having us come back to talk about America 250. Before I start, a quick video to set us up.
It is a basketball party like no other.
There's nothing like it for me. Rivals only Christmas.
Never gets old. This place is rocking.
This is why we do this every March.
The madness is upon us.
The PGA.
There'll be stars in their stripes, stacked with achievements, but no trophy compares to that brotherly love treatment.
The 1976 All-Star Game.
1996 All-Star Game in Philadelphia.
I'll tell you, Philly's going to be on full display in 2026.
So, as you can see from that video and the calendars that we put in front of the commissioners, which are a working document, there's a lot to celebrate next year. But let's not forget what it's all about. Our nation's semi-quincentennial. Commissioner DeBello, can you say that 15 times? No. Semi-quincentennial, because it's taken me a year to write it back down. It's America's 250th birthday. All the events that are taking place are part of that. But let's not forget, it's America's 250th birthday. I think Rose knows that better than anyone in this room right now. She's going to give an update. So today we'll hear from our Senior Vice President of Operations, Jake, on how next year's events are projected to be economically like nothing we've ever seen in Montgomery County and the surrounding region, including record forecast visitation, hotel data, and consumer spend, along with jobs. Then our Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Rachel, will come up to tell you about our strong marketing strategy to promote Montco, not only locally and regionally, but internationally. With a plan to bring return visitation back, it's not just about 26. We're strategically focused on 27 and 28 with a lot of our business that we're promoting to bring to Montgomery County. And finally, the superintendent of the Valley Forge National Historic Park, Rose, will come to talk about Valley Forge National Park's special birthday and other things going on. I know some folks at the county have been working with other counties in the region on different projects related to next year. Our primary focus has been to be strategically targeting a few key initiatives, a few key tactics to the major events so we do them right. One of the things we're hearing quite a bit right now from the region is they're going to do 25 things, but 5 are in place, 10 are kind of in motion. It's all over the place. We're really staying focused right now. We have 3 to 4 initiatives for each thing. And the most important thing is we need to fill 9,500 hotel rooms. And we need to protect the existing business that comes to Montgomery County annually, especially for youth sports. So just as we did with the region, when we were impacted by the NFL draft, Pope Francis's trip, the National Democratic Convention, and most recently the PGA Tourist Championship, one thing is for sure, Montco is going to shine under the global spotlight. You have my commitment, our team's commitment, and now I'm going to bring up Jake, and he's going to talk about some numbers. And I'll come back up at the end for questions.
Thanks a lot, Mike, and good morning, commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. Before I get started to tell you all about the great things that are happening in 2026, I just need to take a couple of moments and just explain and show some momentum. You can go to the next slide. About the hotel industry here in Montgomery County. As Mike alluded to, on any given day we have 9,500 hotel rooms to fill in this county. That's about double what Chester County has, Delco has, and Bucks has. And I understand there's a lot of data up here, but what we focus on is occupancy, which is that far left, ADRs, average daily rate, revenue per available room. That's the RevPAR, which pretty much aligns closely with revenue. But what I want to point out is to the far right, and look at all the green. Momentum. Montgomery County for the last 12 rolling months has had unbelievable success. A couple of months I want to point out. You're looking at the month of February. You see some insane growth year over year. And then lastly is May. May obviously was driven by and you could click one more time, was driven by the success of the Truist. 40,000 folks came to Montgomery County to visit the Philadelphia Cricket Club for the Truist Championship. And that really did move the needle. That was a record month. That was a record month for any month for Montgomery County when it comes to hotel room revenue, which is what we are focused on. Next slide. So how does Montgomery County stack up against the region, to the country? Again, great momentum. We continue to buck the trend. The tourism industry is having some, fits and starts throughout parts of the country, but here in Montgomery County, it continues to be strong. RevPAR, like I alluded to, pretty much aligns with revenue growth. Couple percentage points growth year over year for 2025. That's what we're forecasting, although I think that's a conservative number. Nationally, it's pretty much flat. Look at next year. Plus 1% for the United States, Montgomery County pushing close to 5%. Again, we continue to be well positioned here in the county as far as the tourism industry goes. So next slide. Through our forecasting with an outfit called eConsult, we're looking at a total economic impact of the tourism industry in Montgomery County, about $2.5 billion in 2025, supports 40,000 jobs. That's about a growth rate of about 3% year over year. But look at next year. Once in a lifetime opportunity, probably a conservative number again of $250 million in additional economic impact due to all these events that are taking place in the region. And here in Montgomery County, about a 10% growth year over year. Next slide. So what is driving all of these, all the numbers for next year? Obviously, we started off with March Madness, PGA Championship at Aronimink. Those folks are going to be staying here in Montgomery County, spending their money going to local establishments, museums, art centers, restaurants, shopping. And then lastly, you've got the FIFA World Cup, as well as the Baseball All-Star Game. But what I want to point out here, obviously, is the PGA Championship. I mentioned earlier, the Truist was 40,000 folks, 200,000 possible attendees for the PGA Championship next year. So it's truly the Truist on steroids, I would say. Being a golfer, I'm looking forward to that. So as you can see here, Montgomery County is very well positioned, not only in 25, but in 26. The eyes of the world are going to be looking upon Montgomery County, especially with the international traveler, but also this sets us up for future years, 27 and 28. And none of this obviously would not be happening if it was not for obviously the birthday of Valley Forge National Historical Park, but also our nation's birthday next year, July 4th, 2026. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel.
Great. Thank you, Jake and commissioners. So we know what's coming and that Montgomery County is ready for a front row seat to this historic impact. But how do we approach marketing for such a once-in-a-generation opportunity? Especially when, as you can see from the logos on the next slide here, everyone is understandably going to be trying to put their mark on all of these festivities to benefit their area. So how do we make sure to remind folks what it's all really about? America and Valley Forge's birthdays, get our message to stand out and show why this corner of Pennsylvania has always played a vital role in America's history. And of course, always coming back to our mission of filling those 9,500 hotel rooms. So on the next slide, you'll see to do that, as Mike mentioned earlier, we're focused on using data and technology to strategically target a few initiatives tied to each regional event to get the most impact for our county. In addition, we want to have a strong presence in key drive markets, but we're also identifying the historic locations such as Boston and Virginia. Our goals, overnight visitation, of course, first and foremost, capitalize on existing partnerships like CBS, Fox, the Phillies, and forge new ones like with Uber and Smithsonian. Drive website traffic and social media engagement. And to highlight a few examples, so we're going to geo-fence the NFL draft in Pittsburgh with retargeting ads in April. We're going to bring high-profile entertainment for the PGA Championship clientele looking for evening activities in May. And for FIFA World Cup in June, we we'd love to host a watch party here in Montgomery County, specifically looking at the King of Prussia area. So we're patiently waiting to hear back from Philadelphia Soccer on navigating FIFA's very protective and complicated brand. But we're also hyper-focused on the team announcements December 5th, so we can have domestic airport welcome ads ready to go in different languages and flip a switch on some overseas and international marketing. If we know Ireland is coming to this area, we want Montgo all over the Emerald Isle. And of course, one of our main spotlights will be supporting Valley Forge's 50th Federal Park anniversary. It's the only park in the MPS who shares a birthday with America on July 4th, which is pretty cool. We don't want to lose sight of our ultimate objective, which is return visitation in 27 and 28. We declared our independence, and then we had to fight for it. That's where Valley Forge comes into play. To ensure our marketing strategy is successful, as you can see on the next slide, we've been spending this year getting our toolbox ready with resources to have at our disposal. A special commemorative visitor's guide with a commissioned art cover that will be translated into French, German, Spanish, and Mandarin. We want people to save this one and frame it for the grandkids. A first ever history-centric video like we've never done before. And more than a dozen, what we're calling houses of declaration. We worked with Rose in the Park on this one. Public readings of the document all across the county, from Hatfield, Conchie, Norristown, KOP, Trapp, Bluebell, Pottstown, East Greenville, and ongoing. This is our way of honoring the Declaration's birthplace and celebrating that that's how folks would have found out that we declared our independence in the 1700s at their local pub or tavern. On the next slide, Montgomery County already offers a wide range of budget-friendly and family-friendly activities that encourage travel. But research shows that travelers keep destinations top of mind that have new assets. So luckily, we are also ready for even more visitors next year, starting with the openings of Eataly and Netflix this fall at the iconic King of Prussia Mall. We're working closely with their teams to assist with promotional efforts. We know that the potential national reach and record-breaking international draw of these brands and the mall is going to be epic. Let's face it, we basically own shopping on the East Coast. We're very humble about that. You might be wondering, how can the mall possibly top this? Well, I'm not at liberty to tell you, except they can and they will, and so more to come. As if we weren't already cramming enough into next year, you'll see on the next slide, it will also be the 20th annual revolutionary 5-mile run at Valley Forge Park. To date, this race has contributed more than $800,000 for tourism improvement projects at the park, including wayfinding signage to help the park prepare for 2026. Thank you so much, Commissioners, for being at this year's community event this year. Next year, our goal is to raise more than $100,000 to get us closer to that lifetime $1 million mark. On the next slide, as a reminder, we told you earlier this year, we've gotten ahead of the game for 2026 by investing in a complete website redesign with America 250 in mind, as well as expanded our digital kiosks beyond the park to 2 of our other most visited sites in the county, the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oaks and the Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown, to highlight new marketing capabilities as well as capture more data. These kiosks offer content in several languages and are basically like having accessible personal concierges at satellite offices for us to cater to upwards of more than 3 million people a year. So on the next slide, what's our message when we're driving traffic to our newly refreshed site? As you can see, we worked closely with Valley Forge Park once again on this one. You might have seen our teaser with this message when say Bryce Harper hit a home run this season. Retreat has also been featured at the Independence Visitor Center and to a record number of folks on the flash buses in the city. There are plenty of ways for visitors to retreat now in Montgo with all of our green space, our trails, our dining, our main streets, but that's also what General George Washington and the Continental Army were doing. They were retreating. And if they hadn't strategically regrouped and organized drills for the first time, Valley Forge might not be known as the modern birthplace of the American Army. And the Revolutionary War, quite frankly, might have looked really different. So here to tell you more about Valley Forge's plans is Park Superintendent Rose Fennell.
So let me just say, I am so honored to work with such a professional organization as the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about what we're doing at Valley Forge for America's 250th birthday. So I've been in A250 mode since I was in Boston back in 2012. And we had the Boston Massacre 250 in 2020, the Tea Party in 2023, Battle of Bunker Hill in 2025. I arrived here with nothing but A250 on my mind. So when I got here, I quickly realized that July 4th, 2026 is all about celebrating the Declaration of Independence. That's the date. Philadelphia owns it. My sister park, Independence, has the Declaration House where it was written, the Signers Hall where it was ratified. They've got the Liberty Bell. And so immediately I said to the staff is we're going to amplify that message. We're not competing with it for the semi-quincentennial. So what is it that we can do at Valley Forge to amplify? Let me start off by saying I did some research. Valley Forge was the Commonwealth's first state park, Valley Forge State Park. Established in 1893, the park was created out of the historic core of Washington's headquarters, which was spared the wrecking ball by one Anna Holstein Morris from Bridgeport, helped raise $6,000 to purchase the property that was Washington's headquarters. That headquarters became the core of Valley Forge State Park. And that was done, the raising of that money happened 1876. What was going on in 1876? Why, it was the Philadelphia Expo as part of the centennial celebration of America's birthday. So hang on to that thought. 100 years later, on July 4th, 1976, Valley Forge National Park was signed into law when the people of the Commonwealth gifted their first state park to the people of the United States. So, big deal. Gerald Ford flew to Valley Forge on a holiday, July 4th, 1976, during the bicentennial to sign the park into law. We are the only national park out of 433 parks that was created on the 4th of July. So we think there's something to be said about that. So July 4th, 2026, so we did the centennial, we saved Washington's headquarters, bicentennial, gift to the nation, and now the semi-quincentennial. Rachel mentioned the Houses of Declaration program that we're doing, which I'm pretty excited about. She mentioned the document's power was not just in its ratification, but its reading on the steps of churches and balconies and public buildings and taverns and shops, parlors, on battlefields. And so working with the Tourism and Convention Board, we are going to recreate that sentiment at venues throughout the county, from historic sites to a rather large furniture store. More about that later. Each venue will determine how it wants to celebrate the Declaration of Independence. One vision I have is, for example, a reading of the Declaration of Independence by the Montgomery County Commissioners on the steps of 1 Montgomery Plaza, right? And so for people to hear the words, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have bound them to another. And that's how it begins. And then a lot of people are familiar with, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and then ending with, and for the support of this declaration, we mutually pledge to give each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor. And so to have the reading of the Declaration of Independence heard by the citizenry on July 4th, 2026, we think is going to be a very powerful experience. So in doing this, we hope to create what we're calling a commonality of experience throughout the county, and an opportunity for neighbors to say to each other on July 5th, where were you when you heard the reading of the Declaration of Independence? We think that's going to just be a very powerful conversation. And as enduring as any parade or pyrotechnics, we want to create this sort of intangible experience. So we're tipping our hand to the bicentennial by providing visitors an opportunity to sign our 50th birthday card, which we are going to keep on display in a temporary exhibit in the Visitor Center at Valley Forge. We also are going to ask visitors to sign a thank you card that's going to be sent to the people of Pennsylvania, thanking them for the gift to the nation of Valley Forge National Historical Park. And we are hoping and working with several of our partners, we're hoping to have that thank you card put on display in the Rotunda in Harrisburg. So that's a dream we have. And then we are also recreating Anna Holstein's centennial rally seat in Washington's headquarters. So, in addition to that, I put up there for you all, we launched already this past Monday a program we're calling My Valley Forge Story. This is an opportunity for citizens to go online to the website and share with us their Valley Forge story. We launched on Monday and we already have several stories of engagements, gender reveals. We also have stories of people scattering ashes in the park, which is a permitted event. I invite you all to visit our website, share your Valley Forge story. I recently spoke with some folks at Shannondale, and they recall when the Conestoga wagons came in 1976 for the opening of Valley Forge Park, and so I asked that they please share that Valley Forge story. I have a friend who used to work for the Park Service who sent us a picture of her and her brother climbing on top of the huts. But that was back when it was a state park. So I've asked her to please share her Valley Forge stories, sledding down the hills of Valley Forge, all of that. We're asking people to share with us, and we will curate some of those stories and post them on our website throughout this semi-quincentennial year. Through the generous support of our tourism partner, from the proceeds from the Rev Run, we are sprucing up the park. We're putting in new benches, picnic tables, trailhead markers, kiosks, some sexy looking trash cans, temporary exhibits, and signage. We are building a new fire pit up by the Muhlenberg huts. One of the things I'm kind of excited about is for the 4th of July 2026, we are actually going to go Olympic style. We are going to have a lighting of the fire pit on Friday, July 3rd. We are going to keep the flame lit through the celebratory weekend. We will be inviting folks to come share their Valley Forge story. We will ask VIPs and leaders like yourselves to please come and help open up the 4th of July. And then we are looking forward to extinguishing that flame on July 5th at 5 o'clock. We will have buckets of water so we can put that flame out. So all of this supports this idea of retreat to Valley Forge. And so I have one final ask of you, other than participation possibly in the declaration reading. And that is that you please be present at the table as conversations are being had around transportation and traffic management. I've been working with Federal Highways and the Volpe Center, which is a federal transportation planning group, to move people around inside the 3,200 acre park, but getting people safely to and around all of these different venues, I think, is just an important conversation to have. So encourage you, any information we can provide to help with those conversations on our guesstimates with who will be attending our events at Valley Forge, we'll be happy to share. And again, as my partners here alluded to, all of this is just a precursor to our really big show, which is the arrival of George Washington's army on December 19th in 1777, and then their departure in 1778 on June 19th. And so please, I encourage you to support our tourism partners. We continue to want to drive visitation to this area as we celebrate and commemorate the retreat of George Washington's army to Valley Forge and the historic events that occurred thereafter. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity to share what we're doing at Valley Forge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rose. Just a couple more things. There's some upcoming events you can see there. Just want to thank the commissioners for your support of our Freedom from Hunger Drive, Commissioners Winder and DeBello for being in our event, and Commissioner Makija for your earlier comments and all of your support of MON. I'm on the MON board. We really appreciate it, and people really need help right now, so thank you. valleyforge.org/hunger, shameless plug for our food drive. Please donate. And then we wanted to leave you with something else. We'll go to the next slide. message with our brand logo because it really ties to everything that we talked about today. We like to say, if you can go to the next slide, Montco is rooted in the past, leading the future. And our stars, which are the true face of our identity, represent and symbolize the past, the present, and the future that makes Montgomery County what it is. And you can see on the shirts that we provided in front of you, we honor that past, we celebrate the present, and we are building a future. Thank you so much. Mike's going to answer any questions.
Thank you. Let's give it up for the team. Thank you again, everyone. Two last-minute comments. One would be at our annual lunch this year, we're going to be making some big announcements about 26 and entertainment and potential really cool things. December 5th, as was mentioned earlier, is a big day. December 5th is when FIFA announces the games that'll take place in Philadelphia. Those countries that get announced, we will be in those countries within 24 hours marketing. We already have alignment with Expedia and various other third parties to hit it hard. So keep your eyes on those dates because that will tell you who's coming in and when they're coming in. For the PGA Championship, we're already seeing rooms fill up. Concha-Hawkins through the roof right now, various hotels. So I'm going to open it up. Any questions?
Mike, with the soccer next year,
yep.
Are they going to be using any of the local colleges or anything for training or practice facilities that we know of?
So we're trying. We've been trying. It's tough, as Jake had mentioned earlier, dealing with FIFA, as you read about sometimes. And Philadelphia's really, Meg Kane has been working directly with us. For those who remember, she was at our annual lunch last year. We have a great partnership with her. We would love, even though it's outside of Montgomery County, but we would love Villanova to potentially be a site where we can support that. The proving grounds in Concha-Hawkins would be incredible. So we've been lobbying. We're waiting to hear. More to come. We are focused on a watch party also. We know that 73% of the people that come in for World Cup soccer will not get a ticket. They won't even come close to getting a ticket anywhere in the United States or in Canada. They're coming anyway. They're coming for the watch parties.
Do we have an idea of how many matches that were?
Five or six. Six. It's six. I kept saying five. 6 matches will take place in Philadelphia. The winner of the last game, which will be on July 4th in Philadelphia, will then go to New York, to the Meadowlands for the championship of that division. We are anticipating many people staying and taking Amtrak to New York and getting additional overnight stays because of New York being right next to us. So we're excited about that.
And with the Players' Championship, I would suspect the hotel rooms are filling up.
Yeah, as I just mentioned, the room blocks, we're going to be at the event this week coming up, the golf, the Ryder Cup. We're marketing at the Ryder Cup at the end of the month. We've spent quite a bit to be there, saying, hey, book your room in Montgo now. So like Jake had mentioned, 40,000 people were here. We had a record May. Some of the commissioners, Jamil, you were there. Thank you for being there at the championship. This is 225 to 250,000 people in the region. So I went down to the Carolinas, North Carolina with Jake. We were there. This is unbelievable what's coming our way. We did amazing with the BMW Championship a few years ago, with the U.S. Open a few years ago. And look, like we mentioned earlier, we're the only place to shop too. So that we anticipate with the new assets coming on board, a lot of people coming to the mall.
Can you restate the total number of visitors we're expecting?
For which event?
For the whole year.
Still trying to figure that out. What's up? It's a great answer. It's at least 1 million. If you look at World Cup alone, the number that keeps coming out is 400 to 500,000 people based on the countries for the region. And then with the NCAA Championship, Major League Baseball All-Star Game will be the biggest ever in the history of baseball. They're going to put a strong focus on our history, but also on all the international players. So they're anticipating international media to be through the roof. So when you look at 50-some thousand at the game, media, all the support, they're coming out here to stay. So it's over 1 million, Commissioner.
Any questions?
I was just going to simply say that Rose, I'll tell the story of sledding since you mentioned it. So I think it's really great, the partnership between your organization and the park. and you all always do such a phenomenal job. So thank you for this and helping us get prepared. The other thing that just resonated with me, especially in this moment, is, Rose, you mentioned a couple lines from the Declaration of Independence. And when you mentioned that all men are created equal, that resonated with me in this moment that we're in as a country. And the work that you all are collectively doing is modeling, putting our differences aside and coming together for one common part of our history. And I hope that as we look to celebrate America's 250th birthday, I'm not going to even try to say it, that we'll remember that everyone that calls Montgomery County and America home, that all men and women should be created equal. So thank you for thinking about ways to elevate that message and having a little fun while doing it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll just say thank you again for our team's work. And I'm always hyped up every time I watch your videos. And I do have one question, though. I mean, we've got, obviously, the March Madness, the PGA, FIFA, MLB, big events happening. There's one that I would still like you to figure out how to get here. And I think we have some good venues, which is the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding in 2026.
Somebody whispered that you were going to talk about that to me today, and I thought, how can I answer about Taylor Swift right now? We want to hear.
Find something out new here about Commissioner Keisha.
I've never publicly identified as a
Is that what you call them,
Swiftie.
Swifties?
We have the best venues in the entire Northeast in Montgomery County, and I will personally fly anywhere to get them to have their wedding here, whatever it takes. So keep your fingers crossed and keep beating me up for that, because we'll do it.
We've got great venues. No, I think we should, our comms team is going to post the top wedding venues, or we could just post them all. Don't leave anybody out in Montgomery County. I think Linwood Hall would be a great one. Looks kind of,
Rachel, you said a good one earlier.
I would recommend Elkins Estate or
Has anyone been to Elkins or Caronwood?
Caronwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Bernathen, historic Bernathen. Either one of those would be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get it done. You and I will work on that together.
Thank you.
Right? So thanks again. It's great to see everyone. Sorry we went a little bit long, but more to come. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Okay. One final announcement before we move on with the agenda, which is from our Public Health Administrator, Christina Miller. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Coming on the heels of that presentation, I'm going to talk about mosquitoes. More specifically, I'm going to talk a little bit about reducing exposure to some of the diseases that mosquitoes can transmit. So you've probably all heard of things like malaria, chikungunya, dengue fever, Zika, right? In Montgomery County in Pennsylvania, northeastern United States as a whole, the most common mosquito-borne disease is West Nile virus. Symptoms of West Nile virus are flu-like in most cases. Sometimes it's completely without symptoms, right? But when folks do have symptoms, they could be things like fever, nausea, body aches, rash. But 1 in about 150 people will develop severe disease. So that could be encephalitis, meningitis, neuroinvasive disease, and that's when we start to see significant complications and possibly death. It's important to know that there's no vaccine for West Nile virus. There's no treatment for West Nile virus, right? And so we in public health look at the things that we can do to prevent exposure, prevent people from getting West Nile virus, okay? Next slide, please. So typically, the work of public health includes monitoring for diseases of all kinds, whether that's chronic conditions, infectious diseases, communicable diseases. In this case, we monitor for disease among mosquitoes. This year alone, we've collected over 500 specimens or samples throughout Montgomery County, and that's mosquito specimens. Of those, about a little over 400 met the criteria for testing in a lab. And of those, about 25%, or a little over 100, were positive for West Nile virus. Now, that alone isn't enough to prompt us to move into action. Typically, we look at what's called the vector index. It's a combined measure of how many mosquitoes are in a trap and what proportion of those are positive for West Nile virus. So, again, about 100 of the specimens that we collected so far this year, that's just this summer, were positive for West Nile virus. Now on the right side there, you can see about how many, you can see the number of positive human cases of West Nile virus. In Pennsylvania is the blue line, and in Montgomery County is the green line. Those are relatively low, right? So why do we do this, right? We do this, the work of mosquito control, to prevent those human cases. Again, because it causes disease, it can cause severe disease, and it can cause death. Next slide. Bless you. Thank you. In Pennsylvania, the Department of Environmental Protection is actually responsible for the control of West Nile overall. But the implementation of that work, the actual doing of that work, happens at the county level. Now, here in Montgomery County, we have a health department, so it is the responsibility of the health department to do that work. But in counties where there is no health department, it could go to a different part, a different department within the county. And if there's no resource within the county to do that work, then the Department of Environmental Protection will come in and do that work on its own. All right. Next slide, please. What is that work? Like I said, that's going around the county, collecting mosquitoes, sending those off for testing, and surveilling, right? Checking for the presence of West Nile virus. When we see that West Nile virus is present, we're doing work to then prevent exposures, right? We're doing things like source reduction, right? You leave a bucket outside, there's a tire or some empty vessel that's collecting water. That's a breeding ground for mosquitoes, right? And controlling the mosquito population at all stages, right? So that's ideally before they can fly, right? That's getting rid of sources. That could be treating, specific area of water. And sometimes we get to the point where we need to do spraying for adult mosquitoes. Next slide, please. Now, this is probably the smallest aspect of our work, but it's also the most visible, right? Because we issue press releases, we put information out to municipalities, we are all over social media letting people know, hey, this is happening, right? But it's important to know, we want people to know this is happening, right? And it's also important to know that any pesticide that we're using is tested and approved for use by the US EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, right? And it has specific dosages, right? So if you think about aspirin, for example, there's a safe use of aspirin, right? You take 1 or 2 tablets, right, depending on what's appropriate for you. Same thing for anything else, right? The dosage of this particular pesticide is actually very limited. It's 1 tablespoon, sometimes less, for an area the size of a football field, okay? Typically it dissipates in between 5 and 30 minutes, depending on the weather, okay? And it's administered at night or during the evening hours, right? That's when mosquitoes tend to be active. That's when other beneficial bugs tend to not be active, right? And again, we put information out as far and wide as humanly possible to let folks know that this is happening. Next slide, please. And I want to share with you how to receive notifications, right? So as I mentioned, we issue press releases, we send notifications to municipalities, but we also send personal notifications to folks that are listed here, people that are listed on the Department of Agriculture's pesticide hypersensitivity registry. So if you have a hypersensitivity to pesticides, you'll get notified personally. Registered beekeepers also get a personal notification. And residents who have signed up for Ready Montco, right? So you can go to readymontco.org, sign up for notifications specifically for this. You indicate your municipality, or if you have a loved one in another municipality and you want to receive those notifications as well, you can sign up there and you'll get at least 48 hours advance notice that these are happening. That's all that I have.
Okay.
What questions do you have?
Any questions?
So I brought this up at the last meeting, and so thank you for coming.
Glad to.
Today to, give an overview a little bit about, spraying in West Nile virus, because people are concerned.
Absolutely.
And I could give you story after story that things were approved by the EPA in the past that found out later in life, we found out that it shouldn't have been or whatever. So that as a marker is okay, but, we always find out later that certain things were approved. But more importantly, I think so this is where the confusion is that because people reach out to the state representatives said, oh, it's the county, and I reach out, I said, I know nothing about that. Who actually is requiring the spraying?
So West Nile Control is the work of the Department of Environmental Protection in Pennsylvania. The Department of Environmental Protection then contracts or, forms arrangements with counties. So because we have a local health department here in Montgomery County, it's our responsibility. Pennsylvania code includes vector control as a
it's our responsibility to do the spraying, but I just wanted, for clarity, the state, the DEP, is requiring that we do the spraying.
Absolutely.
That's the.
Yes.
Because I want to make sure that that's clear, because it's easy for people to pass the buck when there's questions, and when I start asking questions, it was like, well, it's not really the DEP, it's the county, but the DEP tells us to do it. I said, well, are they telling us to do it, or is it recommended? And it's just like, literally they're telling us to do it.
This is a requirement of the work.
It's a requirement by the state through the DEP for us to do it. Because then there's other questions that a couple things. One is it's less than 1% of actual people that get bitten by and contract West Nile virus should get sick.
Less than 1% would develop severe complications like encephalitis.
1% of those that are infected by West Nile virus, right?
Correct.
It's very, very low to actually get West Nile virus. In fact, you need to be bitten by multiple mosquitoes that are infected by West Nile virus to actually contract the disease. Yeah, and the other thing is that we know that the birds actually, it's transmitted from birds and all that to the mosquitoes. That's how mosquitoes
I didn't know you were a
get.
doctor.
Well, I had to do my research because I was getting bombarded with questions about this. So I think we need to put the information out there so that I don't want to get bombarded next time we're doing spraying again, because there's a lot of information out there. And I was actually surprised when I was reading it. And then I got contacted by different people that have concerns from the bats population, because the bats actually feed off of mosquitoes, as we know. I think they eat something crazy like 1,000 mosquitoes a night or something like that. So what's the impact when we do the spraying does it have on the bats? So there's so many different aspects of this that it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like I start getting, I'm like, oh my God.
Right, and there's so much
done a lot of
information.
research.
Right. So it's important to have that fact-based, evidence-based information. So certainly folks can go to our website. We do have information about West Nile control and mosquito control on our website. And if folks have other questions, deeper questions, we're happy to take those. We receive questions all the time, and our staff are happy to address those questions.
But out of all my due diligence with this, the most important thing is that the DEP is requiring us to do it.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to make sure we're
This
clear.
is part of the work that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, my only comment is, on behalf of my wife, who, whenever we eat outside, gets bitten by about 1,000 mosquitoes. And only her. I'm totally spared for whatever reason. Thank you.
And thank you, and thank you for bringing evidence and information to the presentation to help us understand. Thank you.
Glad to. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we will now move on to the first public comment period. Remember, this is public comments only on today's pending votes, resolutions, bids, RFPs, and contracts. Limited to 3 minutes. We'll have a separate public comments section at the end for any comments that are not pertaining to the upcoming votes.
David Morgan.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm David Morgan from Ambler, and I'm commenting about several things. First of all, I noticed in the agenda that Exhibit B 3 and 4 mention the term human resources, but agenda item H mentions personnel. So I'm just wondering, as I read your agenda you put out, that that's something I've brought up before. Is it duplication of departments, or is it personnel? So I like personnel. It's personal and less typing. So then the next point I want to mention is agenda G5 is this list of people for the 250 commission. So with that list, is it bipartisan in terms of, or even considering independents. Are there independents on this list? Are there Republicans, Democrats? Is it a balanced persuasion group being part of that list on G5? The next part I want to mention is I'm really happy today to come in and see that on the table in the back we have the Parent and Infant Resource Guide. I said it right now. And it's in Spanish too. So I'm really happy. I mentioned this a few meetings ago that in the Lower Marion Township meeting we had off campus, so to speak, there was plenty of them there, and it was a display actually from the Department of Health and Human Services. This is a great guide. It has a lot of great information in it, and some of the things were mentioned, the listings were mentioned today when Commissioner DeBello mentioned about mental health. Those phone numbers you can find in there for the veterans and considering how they can get help. And also speaking with one of the upcoming speakers, and some information is on page 5 about the Montgomery County Mobile Crisis Hotline. So ways you can contact when you are really coming to grips with a lot of pressures in life. So that's a really great resource to have on the back table. You can pick them up there. And I like to see if possibly it could be on the website found quickly when searching around in the Department of Health, or even before that, maybe a special link could appear when you come to the website, because it offers so much help. I know I'm personally glad to see that there's pregnancy resource centers mentioned there, because when one has these pressures in life about having an upcoming child, and do you have support? Do you have family support? Can you look for housing support? Can you look for medical networking? Can you look for just even sharing in trauma situations, counseling? I think family resource centers are wonderful. I've toured many of them. And so, pregnancy resource centers. So I really highly recommend them. Out of time.
Thank you.
Very happy about that.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Jason Goodman.
Good morning. Thank you so much. We are so thrilled today that you will be considering an ordinance that will establish a Human Relations Commission for Montgomery County. You are going to be taking, hopefully, decisive action to save and protect lives. You are taking action today. This is words and deeds. We could not be more thankful for your leadership. 17 years ago, when I was a teenager, I helped spearhead the local non-discrimination ordinance in Lower Marion Township. And 15 years ago, this year, we were the first in Montgomery County to pass a local non-discrimination ordinance. And that was all Republicans and Democrats coming together. It was a unanimous vote. But the next step was always, let's do this at the county level. And so for the commissioners, the solicitors, there were advocates for many years who have been having these conversations. And today you are taking this action. I know I would want to thank many of the leaders that are still with us who helped provide education and information on this action today. But some leaders that are not with us who were a part of this work, I just want to thank Lynn Zeitlin, Doug Schaps, Joe Cairo, and there are so many others whose names we don't know who helped build to this moment. I mentioned when I spoke here in December of last year, the citation under the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act that empowers you to take this action. And I just want to quote again to clarify, the legislative body of a political subdivision, including a county, may by ordinance or resolution authorize the establishment or membership in and support of a local human relations commission. You are taking the action today that will make a significant difference. I believe we did our homework. We helped support letters from our many of the delegation members from Montgomery County to Harrisburg in support of this action. So Representative Joe Webster sent a letter, I believe signed by 10 House members to you, and Senator Amanda Capoletti organized a letter with the state senators. And so you have significant support for considering this action today. So I just, again, want to thank you so much. You are considering today giving an additional 2.3% of the state's population coverage of non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ people. So this is very significant what you're doing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next comment? Okay. All right, so that's all of our public comment on the agenda items today. We will move on to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the August 14th, 2025 meeting minutes of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner DeBello. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Winder. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Moving on to our resolutions. First resolution, Vera Sanders, are you here to present? Yes, Vera's here. Our Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing me to come today to talk to you about the update around the Emergency Behavioral Health Center. As you know, the behavioral health, when the national recommended crisis design system for when someone is in a behavioral health crisis is to mirror what we see in a physical health emergency response. And what that means is that you want someone to be able to call, which is crisis hotlines. You want someone to respond, mobile crisis, and you want someone somewhere to go. And we have been leaders within Montgomery County, thanks to your support, around the someone to call. We have 2 crisis lines that operate 24/7. And we also have most mobile crisis teams that can go anywhere within the county 24/7 as well. But the area that we were as shining stars on was the area of somewhere to go. And what that means right now is that today, if someone were to experience, a child or an adult was to experience a behavioral health crisis, they were going to need to rely on the already overburdened emergency departments. But thanks to all of your leadership last year, Montgomery County awarded an RFP to Connections PA, and they are a leader in this work in other areas of the country. And they are going to implement the national best practice to be able to have somewhere to go in a crisis. Some of the key elements, thanks. So the Emergency Behavioral Health Center is really an alternative to an ER for all ages, ensuring timely access to the right kind of care at the right moment. And some of those key elements are that it is going to be accessible 24 hours a day. It is going to be able to serve both kids and adults experiencing any type of behavioral health crisis. So that means a mental health crisis or substance use crisis. There will be a no turn away policy. And why that's so essential is because no matter how big the crisis is, no matter how complex, you can come there and they will figure it out. Again, it's for children and adults with separate areas, with separate types of interventions that are specific to the population. Another one that's essential for this type of service is a fast responder drop-off. The goal is under 15 minutes. And why that's so essential is because if I'm a police officer and I'm working with somebody that is experiencing a behavioral health crisis, I'll be able to bring them here to a place that is specifically designed to be and trained to be able to support individuals in behavioral health crisis, and I will be able to leave within under 15 minutes, so can go back to public safety. This design will result in faster and better care and interrupts chronic crisis cycle. It offers a no-barrier point of entry at a time when individuals and families need it most, and an opportunity to provide assessment, crisis intervention, and recommendation for next steps. So why is this important? The benefits of the emergency behavioral health extend beyond the individuals and families served. It includes ERs who, again, have a strain already. This has been found to reduce unneeded emergency room visits by 53%, so that the ERs can focus in on physical health emergencies, and that benefits us all. Schools are also going to be able to see a benefit because they can see a decrease in school absenteeism and potentially a decrease in costly out-of-placement placements for children, because the children will have their behavioral health needs more rapidly addressed. There's also going to be diversion from inpatient hospitals by more rapidly resolving crisis, which results in lower cost of care. And this is even more important right now in our local area, as multiple hospitals in the Southeast region have closed their psychiatric inpatient beds. We also hear repeatedly from police officers and other first responders about how this will impact positively the community as they're going to be able to more rapidly respond to public safety because they are able to get individuals here more quickly. And for some, when appropriate, there will be diversion from jail when really the underlying issue is that the person is experiencing a behavioral health crisis. But beyond the positive impact to the community, what this is really going to impact the most is the children and the adults and families that will be directly and profoundly impacted. This isn't just about a service. It's not just about a best practice, although those things are real. It's about having a lifeline of hope when someone was feeling none. It's about recognition that you are not alone in your crisis. And that, as you said earlier today, that recovery is possible. People do recover from behavioral health challenges, and part of it is addressing crises. So a project update. Montgomery County awarded the Emergency Behavioral Health RFP to Connections PA last fiscal year, and they have been able to secure space that for this project that's zoned appropriately and is accessible, and that is not an easy task. They are going to be the leaseholders for this service, but as part of the transaction, the county will have 3 years of a lease guarantee. Connections is going to subcontract for the needed construction as part of the RFP requirements. So funding. There is over $21 million for startup funding for this service. Approximately $15 million of that is for the renovations, and the remaining portion is for staff and other operations. And while that is a significant amount, part of that is because of the pretty extensive requirements, legal requirements, in order to have this type of service safe and pass license. So these costs, I am really thrilled to say that these costs, we have found sources for the entire startup of this service. The bulk of it is we were approved for Health Choices reinvestment funding from the state for this specific service. And while that's exceptionally great because the reinvestment dollars were actually because of the great work that Montgomery County does in running the Health Choices program so effectively and efficiently, and those funds can go back and be reinvested into the local community instead of going elsewhere in the state. And then we also were able to secure multiple project-specific grants. And when I say project-specific, what I mean by that is they are only to be used for the Emergency Behavioral Health Center. If we were not to use it for that, we would have to give the money back. And those funds are all secure and in hand. The vast majority of the anticipated ongoing costs will be covered by insurances, and that includes Health Choices insurance, which is the PA Medicaid program, and commercial insurances, and also other state grants. And we will continue to partner with the state and other stakeholders for additional ongoing funds. And I really, again, appreciate all that you have done to support this service. Questions?
Any questions? No. Thank you for all of your work. This is such a critically important initiative that we're proud to be doing in Montgomery County for all of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to approve resolution number 1 for the lease agreement and supporting documents and approving the county's execution of the 3-year guarantee and related documents for the implementation as described by Ms. Sanders?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The resolution is approved. Thank you. Moving on to another resolution, Jamie Trupp in domestic relations. Jamie here? Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here this morning to respectfully present a resolution for your consideration. The Title 40 Child Support Program, which falls under the Social Security Act, is renewing their cooperative agreement. Our current agreement ends on September 30th of this year, and the new agreement is for 5 years, beginning on October 1st. The purpose of that agreement is to make sure our office is in line with the federal regulations, as well as ensuring all the children in Montgomery County receive financial and medical support. There are no changes from our previous agreement, so I'm just respectfully asking you to re-sign a new agreement.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2 as described by Ms. Truck?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner DeBello.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Winder. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Thank you. Easy. Moving on to the approval of applications for our Food Systems Infrastructure Grant Program. Sam Applefield.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for considering this resolution before you to fund $610,000 in food systems infrastructure grant projects. Just going to give a very quick background on the grant process here. The goal of these grants is to advance a more equitable and more sustainable food system. We had a two-step application process. We accepted letters of intent from May 12th to May 30th. We received 65 letters for asks totaling just shy of $3.4 million. We had a review committee that evaluated these letters of intent. We invited about half of them, 33, back to submit second round applications. The review committee again reviewed, evaluated those second round applications, and of those we have 13 projects that are being recommended for funding today. These projects are diverse in terms of their scale, their location throughout the county, and the impact they will have on the food system. I believe you have the full list in front of you, but they include funding for pantries to increase their capacity to provide perishable foods, farms to install season extension to increase their growing seasons, establishment of new commercial kitchen projects, and a variety of others. So happy to answer any questions you have, and appreciate your time and consideration this morning.
Great. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution number 3 as described by Mr. Applefield?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner DeBello. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Winder. Any board comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The resolution is approved. Thank you. That's quick. All right, next, our Solicitor Ben Field will present a resolution. This is to establish a Human Relations Commission in Montgomery County. So if passed, this commission will play a critical role in ensuring that all Montgomery County residents are receiving protections afforded to them under Pennsylvania law. Ben's going to share more, but in short, in 1955, the PA Human Relations Act authorized counties to create these commissions, and the act says that no resident should be faced with discrimination when looking for housing, applying for a job, or accessing public spaces. With the establishment of the committee, local residents would now have a place to turn here in Montgomery County, as opposed to just the state, if they experience unfair treatment on account of who they are, where they're from, who they pray to, who they love, or where they're from. So the implications for our residents would be real and immediate, and for the first time they would have a place here locally to bring issues of civil rights and human relations. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners, and nice to see you from this vantage point. I'm pleased to appear here before you today, as you said, Commissioner Makija, to present a resolution for the Board's consideration to establish the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission. By way of background, my office was asked to research the creation of a local Human Relations Commission, and as a result of that, it became clear that a local county Human Relations Commission can be created under state law and could be a place for members of this community to turn when they believe they've been discriminated against because of immutable characteristics. As you noted, Commissioner Makija, Pennsylvania Human Relations Act was passed in 1955, and I'm left thinking here of echoes of the Tourism Board's comment that Montgo is rooted in the past and leading for the future. In 1966, the legislature approved the creation of a local Human Relations Commission by amending the act. In doing so, it expressly said that it was empowering local legislative bodies, like county commissioners, to grant to local commissions powers and duties similar to those now exercised by the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. So, in presenting this today, I'm proud to follow the language that was used in 1955 and present a motion that would say, it's hereby declared to be the public policy of this county to foster the employment, housing, public accommodation of all individuals in accordance with their fullest capacities, regardless of their race, color, religious creed, and ancestry, age, sex, national origin, handicap, or disability, and to safeguard their right to obtain and hold employment, housing, and public accommodations without such discrimination, to assure equal opportunity to all individuals. If you vote to create the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission today, it will be independent and nonpartisan. The county will then spend the next 180 days seeking members of our community to serve on the commission, determining appropriate bylaws and ensuring that the Human Relations Commission is able to provide access and assistance in accordance with the laws of the state and our country. I respectfully recommend that the board approve this resolution and enact the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission.
Thank you. So I'll make a motion, and then we can ask any questions or comments in the board comment. Or is there a motion to approve resolution number 4 as described by Mr. Field?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second? I'll second. Moving on to board comment. Any comments?
Just want to echo your comments about the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission. First, I want to thank the team for working through this and all of the advocates who have been coming to voice their perspectives and opinions on us doing this. I know it's been a long time coming. One of the things that I learned coming from the private sector is government doesn't always move at the pace that I always like. But I appreciate the due diligence that we've done since I joined the board in 2023 to see how we could go about doing this. I think this commission sends a clear message to our residents that discrimination has no place here. And if you face it, you have a county that will stand with you. And having an HRC here in Montgo means that if a family is denied housing because of their race or ancestry, there will be a place to turn to in our community. And I know there are local commissions that people can turn to at the municipality level. If an older worker is pushed out of a job because of their age, they'll have local help and resources to make things right. If someone is excluded from public accommodations because of their disability or sexual orientation, they will have a pathway to action right here in Montgomery County. It means that our friends and neighbors will be working together to protect the rights of all residents in our community. This commission goes beyond compliance. It's about dignity. It's about ensuring that every resident in every community across Montgomery County has a fair chance to live, work, and raise a family. I encourage anyone with a passion for equity and justice to consider applying when the process opens, I believe next week. And the board will consider 5 to 7 people, I believe, over the next several months. And this commission will ensure that residents won't have to shoulder the burdens of discrimination alone. It shows that Montgomery County itself is committed to standing up for them. And I want to thank my colleague. I want to thank our county staff for doing right by the residents of Montgomery County. Hopefully doing right. We haven't voted yet.
Thank you. I will first, again, like to thank the staff for bringing this together. And it has been thoroughly researched. And prior to our administration, it wasn't clear or understood whether counties would enact these. Most of the municipalities were the entities that were enacting Human Relations Commission. And as Jason Landau Goodman, who I want to thank for his work 15 years ago and working with all the people that he mentioned and making that happen in a bipartisan way in Lower Merion, but also for bringing it up to us and pointing out that the statute was broad and made clear that counties could in fact take this action to protect all of our residents. So thank you, Jason. Thank you to Morgan Selkirk as well, who's head of our LGBTQ commission, and all the members of the commission who have been advocating for us at the local level to take action to protect civil rights, and all of the work that you do to make it clear that Montgomery County is welcoming for every resident. Thank you for getting us here, and we maintain a commitment to ensuring that the county as a whole is a place where no matter who you are, you belong. And one of the things that I appreciate about this commission is it also is not merely an enforcement body that exacts fines on violations, but actually starts with steps in mediation and bringing together those who may have a complaint regarding access. And that's one of the things that we're going to think about as it gets implemented, and how to make sure that that's a positive experience that leads people to a place where they have their rights vindicated, and leaves those who may have to consider their practices in a place where they feel good about the changes that they're making so that they are more accessible to everyone in the county. But thank you again for raising this. Any other comments?
Just a couple quick questions. In the resolution, it says 5 to 7. Should we earmark specifically how many we're appointing, or is it fine to go with a range of 5 to 7?
It is fine to go with a range of 5 to 7.
And when you were researching this, and you mentioned about bylaws, have you found bylaws that have already been established other places that could be used already? Or we don't have established bylaws for this, right?
For this commission specifically, we don't. We have, my office has obviously worked with other Montgomery County commissions on their bylaws. Right. And part of the local nature of a Human Relations Commission under this delegated authority of state law is to work with that commission on the regulations and processes it will implement locally to be responsive here in Montgomery County.
So right, so, but are there bylaws that you already looked at that you'd be able to use, do you think?
Yes, there are all of the regulations of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and then there are 4 counties in Pennsylvania that have established their own Human Relations Commissions, and I believe 10 townships in Montgomery County. So we have looked at those materials, yes.
Yeah, so this law was passed in, originally 1955, and then it was 1966, you said, yes, where they included municipalities and counties, right?
Local entities, right, was the reference.
So, but since then, there's been many laws that have been passed and put on the books, passed after this, that really deal with discrimination, specifically within this, when housing, public accommodations, employment, like there's so many laws already on the books, right, that address these.
I'll agree. There's federal laws,
right?
Fair Housing Act. There is in the state the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act. It's been amended to include additional categories, additional types of discrimination, and we do not and are not in the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission creating new causes of action, new laws in that sense. We're creating a local forum that can be locally sensitive and address problems here in Montgomery County.
But the research, what I looked into is that we really don't have this commission, this group, this committee, these 5 to 7 people, really don't have, you could have hearings and all that, but they really don't have authority to do anything. They could recommend, or they could try to impose fines or whatever, but they don't actually have authority to enforce. Is that correct?
Well, so I believe we have authority delegated under the state law for similar powers to what the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission exercises.
So it would have to be kicked up to the state?
No, actually, what that means is that we can create processes here for hearings, for adjudications and determinations, and then seek to enforce the authority of those determinations of the Montgomery County Human Relations Commission in the Court of Common Pleas.
Right. So Right.
But it would go through state
So it'd
court
have to
system.
go through,
Correct.
right, so then, and if it went through this court system, then it would, the failover would be then enforcement of the laws, discrimination laws and all that that are already in place.
Yes, and that is how, I mean, through the court system is how
But
those
like
laws are enforced.
if this group wants to impose a fine, they don't have authority to actually enforce that fine. It has to go to the court.
So in any imposition of a fine to perfect somebody's failure to pay it by a civil entity, that's going, ultimately is appealable through the court system, and this
right.
would be no different.
Right. And then what's the liability that the county takes on that if this commission group goes outside of their realm or whatever it may be? Because like lawyers and all that have malpractice insurance and all this other kind of stuff that they have to have in place. What liability is the county taking on by having this and having these so-called hearings?
Well, I don't see the liability for the county here as different than any of the other actions the county takes every day, in that people are free to challenge the county's actions, and those would ultimately be adjudicated by court. If we're talking about a situation that somebody was going so far outside of their role that we would be on sound legal ground not to indemnify them, there's no liability. And if they're doing their job, courts will tell us whether we are right or wrong, and there can be penalties for that. That is part of the operation of government.
And what's the terms?
They are 2-year terms.
2 year, I don't remember, I might have missed out, because I just got some of this yesterday, so I might have missed out when I was reading it. So it's a 2-year term.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
No. So the resolution passes 2-1, and we have established Montgomery County Human Relations Commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, our next commission, Aaron Boyle, our Director of External Affairs, America 250 Commission.
Good morning, commissioners and members of the public. I'm Erin Boyle, your Director of External Affairs. Before the board today is a resolution to create the America 250 Montgomery County Commission. If approved, this commission will consist of a diverse group of Montgomery County citizens eager to build local, county-wide support of activities that recognize and celebrate our semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary of our nation. This commission will support Montgomery County's efforts to develop, promote, and organize opportunities that will celebrate, honor, and educate the public about the role of Montgomery County's communities, historic sites, and their impact on our nation's founding and continued history. As required in the county's earlier resolution from March of 2022 on this subject, the roles of this commission will be voluntary. The participants will be appointed to a 3-year term, and we expect festivities and special events to occur throughout the entire year of 2026, 27, and 28. Thank you for your time and attention. We respectfully ask for your support in approving the resolution to establish the America 250 Montgomery County Commission and get this important work underway. I'm happy to take any questions if there are some.
I just have a quick question. We're creating this for 3 years, but isn't the America 250 next year?
That's a very good question. As I understand, a lot of the historic sites in the county are celebrating special events that, while the nation's birthday is July 4th of 2026, some of those special events and historic occasions are over the course of 2027 and 28 as well. So they're not all happening in July of 2026. It's a great question.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for, again, the whole team, all the work in terms of recruiting candidates and selecting them. I will make, or I'll ask, is there a motion to approve the appointments to the America 250 Montgomery County Commission as presented by Ms. Boyle?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The resolution is approved. Thank you. Thanks for everyone who's serving on the commission. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the personnel list, hearing from Tony Brew, our Chief Human Resources Officer.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have in front of you the final copy of the Commission Department's personnel list. It is a 3-page document dated September 3rd, 2025, with a timestamp of 12:14 p.m. All positions have been reviewed and accounted for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 personnel presentation as given by Mr. Tony Brew?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second? I'll second. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes all. Thank you. All unanimous. Thanks. Moving on to Exhibit A. This is the advertisement of bids, RFPs for Montgomery County. Is there a motion to approve the advertisement of bids and RFPs for Montgomery County on attached Exhibit A?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. The bids and RFPs are approved. Moving on to contracts. Is there a motion to approve the contracts, awards, amendments, and renewals for Montgomery County on attached Exhibit B?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner DeBello. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Winder. I have two comments. First is item 3, Exhibit B. I think this is great to recognize after an extensive search and competitive RFP process, the county is awarding a contract to a new prescription benefit manager, Caremark PCS Health. I want to thank Tony Brew, our Chief Human Resources Officer, for his work along with the HR team as a whole, evaluating all the benefits for county employees to ensure that we have a package that gives great benefits, but they're also cost effective. So as a result of that competitive process, we're saving over $1 million on that one contract after a competitive bid. So thank you for all of your work. The second item on page 6, which is a vehicle barrier system, which our Department of Public Safety is purchasing. I want to thank Brian for the work he does every day, including on this. This is a shared resource. So you may remember that the July 4th parade was briefly canceled and then uncanceled in White Marsh Township. That was because of security concerns and the lack of availability of resources like these vehicle barrier systems. They essentially block the roads, prevent people from driving onto a road when there's a parade or an activity. And it's really important that we have these resources for public safety. And thankfully, we're buying them as a county, and we'll be able to loan them out to any of our municipalities or neighbors if they need them and they're available. So thanks again, Brian, and thanks for working with the police departments to make sure that they know that they can have these resources. Any comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The contracts are approved. Thanks. Moving on to awards of contract for the Southeast PA Regional Task Force. Is there a motion to approve the contracts, awards, amendments, and renewals for the Southeast PA Regional Task Force on attached Exhibit C? Moved by Commissioner DeBello. Is there a second?
There's a second.
There's a second. Seconded by Commissioner Winder. All in favor? Aye. The contracts are approved. Okay. Moving on to general public comment. Are there any commenters?
Yes. Erin Kinley.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erin Kinley, and I am the Senior Manager and State Coordinator for the Penn State Extension Master Gardener Program. While my role is statewide, I am a Pottstown resident myself, and I have the privilege of being based out of the Extension office in the Creamery Skipback area. I first want to thank you all, both commissioners and taxpayers present here today and also online, for your many decades of support and funding for Penn State Extension in Montgomery County. I'm here today because I wanted to share a real-time update on some of the critical work that our Penn State Extension Master Gardeners are doing to support food security in Montgomery County in the wake of massive cuts to federal food assistance programs. For those who are unfamiliar, the Master Gardener program is a volunteer program that works to extend university research and resources into local communities. One of our key programs is called Seed to Supper, and it's a gardening curriculum that we offer to clients of food pantries who want to grow their own food on a budget, experience the mental health benefits of gardening, and connect with others in their community. Statewide, Seed to Supper has had outstanding evaluations from participants. Of the evaluations we received in 2024, 70% strongly agreed that the program helped them to grow their own food. Here in Montgomery County, we are in the third year of Seed to Supper programming. This spring, we had classes at Daily Bread Community Food Pantry in Collegeville and Manna on Main in Lansdale, with a total of 20 participants between both. And just next week, we start classes at Keystone Opportunity Center in Souderton with 11 people registered so far. Looking into 2026, we already plan to offer the classes again at Daily Bread and Manna on Main, and our volunteers have a meeting scheduled to hopefully add a location in Pottstown. What I particularly want to highlight is that we're one of the few institutions left that hasn't been gutted by federal and other funding cuts, that still has the expertise and infrastructure to continue to provide educational services and support to food pantries in Montgomery County. The Master Gardener program is particularly special in our ability to train highly skilled volunteers to multiply the impact of our outreach. If we can continue to remain stable, we also have the potential not only to grow Seed to Supper, but also to redirect our Master Gardeners' efforts to increase the amount of produce supplied directly to food pantries. During the height of pandemic years, our Master Gardener volunteers grew, collected, and donated over 6,000 pounds of produce to over 10 different food pantries in Montgomery County. So just to recap, I wanted to let everyone know about the incredible work that our volunteers have done and are continuing to do to support food security here in Montgomery County, and to just let you know that we're here to serve. And if anyone here would like more information, I will be available after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
David Morgan.
David Morgan again of Ambler. I was so happy to talk about that brochure, that parent and infant resource guide, that I didn't mention the agenda item B1, which involves the person to be given the Maternity Care Coalition guidance and employment for $80,000. So that can really save lives, I think, a lot, in the same way that this brochure does. And I think that the coordination of both, that new individual and all the services mentioned in this parent and infant resource guide will be wonderful, so that also that this guide could go to health service areas, hospitals where their women's health and pregnancy could come as an issue. Our local hospitals, it'd be great to have copies of this around. So I encourage the commissioners to have this in hard copy, and also through the online awareness, through our links, or somehow we can get attention, because there's so many great things related to a lot of the topics we talked about in saving lives today. Thank you.
Ed Moy.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Ed Moy. I live in West Norriton, Pennsylvania. I've been here before. I've missed a couple of, maybe the last 6 months with the meetings. First, I want to say congratulations to the Sheriff's Department and the Sheriff's Honor Guard. That was really impressive. Second, I want to speak on something I missed. In June, the commissioners put forth a policy prohibiting county workers from assisting the federal government, i.e. ICE, and I think that's horrible. I think that's horrible. I'm retired law enforcement, as some of you know, over 20 years, and I feel as though that we need all the help that we can get as far as our law enforcement community, especially with the federal government and what they're trying to do. Now, I can sit here and I can ramble off on names as far as illegals that have killed people in our nation, raped and killed these women, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sure you guys have heard that already. And before you say, well, this is about people and we're talking about saving lives, I think I have a bit of footing there. I grew up in Philadelphia, 7 brothers and sisters on welfare, and my mother, because my father got killed right in front of me when I was 4 years old, and she lost her husband. So I can, believe me, I can feel, but there's a right way to do things. I say this, I graduated from high school, or I say I escaped the Philadelphia school system. I joined the military, and then I joined the Prince William State Police. And there's a way to do things the right way, a way to do things the legal way. And by not helping to get rid of people who particularly could potentially be criminals, and that has been proven so, especially with what's going on in the District of Columbia. I don't see, I don't understand, I don't get it. Also, I'd like to end on this. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but our governments have power because the people consent to be governed. And when through a long train of abuses and usurpations, this is a phrase from the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. It describes a situation when a government's repeated and systemic abuses of power reveal a pattern of intent to establish absolute rule of despotism. It asserts that in such circumstances, the people have the right and the duty to overthrow that government and create a new one, and to secure their future society. And I say, there's this old song, there's this old song that goes, quote unquote, there's a train a-coming, and there's nothing we can do about it. Thank you.
Preston Lutweiler.
Hello, my name is Preston Lutweiler. I'm from Limerick Township. And I want to thank Commissioner Winder and Commissioner Makija for moving to create a Montgomery County Human Relations Commission. Thank you. On another topic, I noticed that Commissioner Makija's opening remarks started out with noting that we are facing a shortfall of millions of dollars of state funding because the state legislature has failed to pass the state budget more than 60 days past the deadline. And my representative has voted to approve the state budget on time or close to on time. There have been multiple votes taken to try to address a thorny outstanding issue, thorny issues mostly about public transportation. My state senator and her colleagues have obstructed every effort to try to come up with a state budget to address both public transportation issues and all of the other state funding that affects Montgomery County and the entire state. So I'm a little bit dismayed by my state senator. The fact that public transportation is the nub of this. At the last commissioners meeting, I said the proposal by the state senate to take money from the capital fund and use it for operating expense is irresponsible. I mean, you commissioners know that's not any way to run a county agency. It's not any way to run a railroad unless you're trying to run it into the ground. And that appears to be what the state senate would like to do with SEPTA. And I want to compare this with what was said about the project, the semi-quincentennial. and all of the great things that are supposed to happen and all of the people who are coming into this region in 2026. Why are we driving our public transportation system into the ground when we have this opportunity facing us, presenting us? So I'd like to, I know that our region, Southeast Pennsylvania, produces more than 40% of the state revenue. I'd like somebody to figure out how much state revenue, I know my state taxes are greater than my county taxes. How much state revenue comes from Montgomery County and how much is sent back to Montgomery County, and why can't we support a public transportation system to support Montgomery County?
Thank you.
Andy Loviso? I'm sorry.
It's okay. My handwriting isn't very clear. Thank you. My name is Andy Ladicio. I live in Lafayette Hill. And I want to thank Commissioner Widener and Makisha for the work that you're doing to protect Montgomery County and how you are keeping private information private and letting the government know that this county does not work for the federal government or for ICE, instead works for the people. And so I just want to thank you for your efforts there, as well as with the Human Rights Commission. That's really awesome, and it's really showing residents of the community that there's support behind them, and it's really needed at this time. I also want to remind us that our work is not done as ICE continues to pick up people in the area. We've mentioned, advocates have mentioned that this isn't going to stop, the overreach is not going to stop with immigrants, and it has not. We've already seen unhoused individuals along the train tracks, specifically in Norristown, getting picked up by ICE or local agencies working with ICE. And so I just want to say that this is still a problem, and while we are working at a local municipal level, as you guys have suggested, rightfully so, that this still remains a county problem, and that, regardless of if we disagree with individuals, everybody is a human being and everybody deserves freedom and respect, and that is our constitutional right, whether you are a citizen or not. And also, right now, we mentioned with the school buses that there are children out and about, and to be really careful. And even in the last couple days, as school has picked up, again, we've seen a lot of fear in families of, what's going on around school drop-offs and school pickups, and a lot of concern on if that's going to be safe or not. So just keeping in mind that keeping watch for our neighbors is helpful at this time, keeping our neighbors safe, and I appreciate all the work that you two are doing to keep our community safe as well, and I look forward to continuing this work with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Carmina Taylor?
Good afternoon. I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to try to talk slow because when everybody got up here, there was so much being said, I couldn't digest it. I didn't look at the agenda before I came here, and when I heard about the resolution for the Human Relations Commission, I thought to myself, there was one that existed because I served on it in this county 17, 18 years ago. But I spoke to one of, I guess, your staff members, and she clarified that it was the advisory council. From my understanding, that was the impetus of local townships and boroughs having local commissions. So I asked her the distinction between a local commission versus the county commission. And as I heard the gentleman speak and describe the statute, what you would do, heard Tom's response, I want to frame that I had a conversation with the executive director of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. And my immediate concern was when we talk about civil rights, it's beyond housing, it's beyond gender discrimination, it's also education. And he made it very clear to me that the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission was going to be the answer for civil rights violations for families in our educational systems. So as I heard all the descriptions of what this commission would be doing, I want to be mindful that civil rights violation also is about education. And I am very familiar with the 23 school districts in this county. And because there is no Civil Rights Division of the Department of Education, and because there's discrimination in our school systems in Montgomery County, please keep in mind that you have an opportunity to give families an outlet to have hearings, to have mediation, to hold school districts accountable. That is the moment that we're in. So when I think about what iteration was when I served, okay, when I think about the evolution of how local municipalities have commissions, and then our county one now, please keep in mind that civil rights violations for education has to be a cornerstone of your work, has to be educated to people out there that there's a viability for that, and to make people understand the process to get to that help. Because when I was on the advisory council of the Human Relations Commission of Montgomery County, part of the problem is that local residents didn't understand what we did, what their rights were, how do they exercise it, and what are the recourses. I think if we are going to move forward with this county commission, that is such an important piece of how you unveil yourself and how you develop bylaws. So I want to say that, I hope I said it slow enough, that people understand, because this is very important for the residents of this county. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Katia Lama. Katia?
Good morning. Okay. Buenos días, estimados miembros de la Junta de Comisionados del Condado de Montgomery.
Good morning, honorable Montgomery County Commissioners.
Mi nombre es Katia Lama, soy madre de 2 hijos y residente de Abington, en el Condado de Montgomery. Como inmigrante,
Her name is Katia Lama. She's a mother of 2 kids, and she is resident of Abington in Montgomery County. My name is Rocio.
como inmigrante y miembro activo de esta comunidad, me dirijo a ustedes hoy con el corazón lleno de esperanza y con un llamado urgente.
I'm speaking to you today with deep conviction and a simple but urgent request. Please pass the Immigrant Welcoming Resolution.
Por favor, aprueben la resolución de bienvenida a los inmigrantes. Este condado se enorgullece y con razón de sus principios de equidad, justicia e inclusión.
Montgomery County prides itself rightfully so on its values of equity, justice, and inclusion.
Hemos construido una comunidad fuerte gracias a la diversidad de quienes vivimos aquí.
We are a stronger community because of our diversity.
Esta resolución no solamente es un gesto simbólico, es un paso concreto hacia la protección de nuestras familias más vulnerables.
This resolution is just not symbolic. It is a concrete step toward protecting our most vulnerable neighbors and affirming that everyone, regardless of immigration status, deserves to live with dignity, safety, and access to essential services.
Un reconocimiento de que todos, sin importar nuestro estatus migratorio, merecemos vivir con dignidad, seguridad y accesos básicos. Desde febrero hemos estado pidiendo esta acción. Hemos asistido a reuniones compartiendo nuestras historias y reiterando nuestro llamado.
Since February, our community has been asking for this resolution. We've been attending meetings, shared our stories, and made our voices heard.
El tiempo no puede esperar más. Cada día que pasamos sin protección, nuestras familias, como la mía, vivimos bajo la sombra del miedo, la incertidumbre y sobre todo la exclusión.
And yet, it still has not passed. This time is running out. Every day without this resolution, families like mine continue to live in fear, uncertainty, and exclusion. Um, we know we're out of minutes, so we leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you take the time to look at to this resolution.
Thank you.
Was
Because
there more? Did she want to say more?
yes,
A
can she?
lot more, or just a little bit?
Okay, otro poquito. Puedes.
Esta resolución está completamente alineada con los valores que nuestro condado dice defender.
This resolution aligns with our local policies and reflects the values we claim to uphold. It strengthens trust between immigrant communities and local institutions, promotes a government guided by facts, not fear, and sends a clear message. Here, everyone is welcome. Thank you so much. Gracias.
Thank you very much.
That's it for public comment.
Yes, that's it for public comment. Any closing comments?
No.
Not necessary.
No.
Do you have any closing comments?
Huh? No, I said no, I don't have any problem.
So I have to make this comment, which I have been delaying for some time, and she's turning red, so you can see her getting embarrassed. Rebecca Tyrell, this is maybe her last commissioners meeting. Who knows Becca on this team? Who knows how incredible and valuable she is for all of Montgomery County. Ensign's right there with the camera. That's perfect. So Becca has been my executive administrator for the length of this term. She started as my executive assistant in my prior job. We've been through 3 different jobs together. She joined a campaign, had never been in politics before, but was someone who I trusted, I still trust with everything. Most of you also realize that you would much rather deal with her than with me, which is why she's been such an amazing partner here in government. And, Megan and the team, they wrote some comments, which I agree with. I'll save my roast for a private gathering. They wrote some very thoughtful things, but I want to share. Becca has a special talent for making people feel seen, heard, and supported. Everyone who works with her knows she values collaboration, trust, and humor. She's poured her heart and energy and talent into serving this community, of which she is not a member, which she lives in South Philly. But she's done a lot for the people of Montgomery County. I'm so grateful for everything that she's done for me, for the commissioner's office, for all of us as commissioners. And there's much more that I can say that I'll save my best material. But I just wanted to say this publicly because many of you have interacted with Becca if you've ever worked with me in any capacity over the last, almost 2 years in our term. And I could not have taken on this role without her. I probably would not have run for office and had the team that I needed to get here. So thank you for everything that has come out of that as a result in just the last 3 years. It's been amazing working with you. And I hope she's not going away. I will recruit her to another role in the future. Just wait. But Becca's going to start, did I say it? She's going to start a restaurant with one of her closest friends, who's a fantastic chef. He's been written up in the Inquirer recently. Anyone ever go to Tabachoy? Ben? Huge fan.
Great
restaurant. So Chance is his name. Anise? It's a Filipino restaurant, and so they're going to start a steakhouse in Fairmount in Philly. Much shorter commute for Becca, which she appreciates, and I have no doubt that they're going to get that first Michelin star or whatever James Beard award.
Michelin star?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Well, they're starting them in Philly this year.
Oh, okay. I never heard that.
It is the same mission
Yes.
that makes tires, by the way.
Yes.
I've never heard of that before. That's cool.
Yeah. Don't try to eat the tires. They're not very good. But no, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Becca, and I'm very sorry to lose her in public service, but I'm very excited about her next steps and many more things ahead. Any comments?
So I said I didn't have any comments, but now I have to make some. So Becca and I met on the campaign trail in 2023. It's a year I'll never forget. I remember seeing her at a local committee meeting. Sorry, my microphone wasn't on. It's like, who the hell is this, right? Like, who is she? And I found out she was working for my competition. But what I would say, as our campaigns came together, Becca took great pride in ensuring that I had all the support that I needed to get over the finish line in that moment. And then when we think about governing and when we think about how difficult it is to be an elected official, having people sitting beside you that you trust, that you can count on, that will never betray you. While I know you are still Commissioner McKeesia's executive administrator, I found great comfort having you as a friend, as a partner, as a confidant, helping us navigate challenging moments over the last year and a half. And you just are an amazing, amazing human being. I wish more people were like you, had your heart, had your desire to treat everyone with respect and be fair, and just wishing you all the best. We are fortunate to have had you for the last year and a half, and know that Chance's restaurant endeavors will be better having you as a part of that team. So you're always welcome back to Montgomery County, and if he gets you back, I'll vote for you on salary board. So, congratulations.
Well, I just add real quick, we didn't meet on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, right? What's that?
She was at the debate.
Well, she
Saw
was. I
her
don't know.
around.
I probably saw her around. Look, I mean, look, you've been a great asset here for the county and the commissioner's office. One of the things is, I don't know what it was like prior to the three of us coming here, but the one thing I will.
It's just terrible.
Okay. You spoke. That was a good comment. But I will say that, as the three executive assistants that we have here, I mean, they do work really hard. They work as a team. They always try to ensure that we're out there, we're doing the best we can for Montgomery County. You've been a major part of that. You've always been kind and sweet and fun to work with. And I know that where you're going, and I look forward to, I think we're going to have to do a road trip, to go for steak once they're up and running. But I'm sure, I know that with your help, that restaurant's going to be a huge success, and we're very fortunate to have you. We'll miss you, and I'm sure and hope to run into you again sometime in the future. So thank you for everything, for being here.
Thank you. Another round of applause, please. With that, I ask, for one, noting our next meeting is Thursday, September 25th at 10 a.m. here in the boardroom. And I'll ask, is there a motion to adjourn the September 4th, 2025 meeting? Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, moved by Commissioner DeBello, seconded by Commissioner Winder. Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. We'll bring up the controller for a brief salary board meeting.
Yeah.
You know that I have that guy in the webpage and they're, oh, thank you. Yeah, you made me appreciate it.
Thank you for that comment.
Yeah, it happens.
This is really important.
can't hold here.
I'm going around this way. There's wires.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I want to make sure that we're inclusive of it all, so. Want it? That was a long, presentation. I didn't know that. Oh, there, yeah, right.
That one.
Money, the revenue, whatever.
Okay, so we are moving on to the salary board. Very quick, one vote. Yeah, one thing to vote on. Is there any public comment? Okay. We're all here. Is there a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 salary board presentation as about to be given by Mr. Tony Brew?
Okay, I'm good? Okay, I'm good? All right. All right, good morning, members of the salary board. Well, good afternoon. You should have in front of you the final copy of the salary board list. It is a 4-page document dated September 3rd, 2025. Excuse me, with the timestamp for 12:14 p.m. All positions have been reviewed and accounted for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 salary board presentation as given by Mr. Tony Brew?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Any second?
Second.
Seconded by Controller Hart. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? One no. The salary board presentation is approved.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the September 4th, 2025 meeting of the Montgomery County Salary Board?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Controller Hart. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.